What's up, guys? My name is Xavier Gusset. I'm on Call the Huddle here with Alabama A&M quarterback Aqeel Glass, head of the NFL draft. One of my favorite quarterbacks in this class. He's got a big arm, 37 touchdowns, 7 picks this past year. So what's up, Aqeel? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm excited to get to talk to you today. I want to start with a few short questions to get my fans and the guys watching to get to know you. Is that cool?
For sure.
All right. So first one, Jordan or LeBron?
LeBron.
LeBron? You
yeah.
definitely think LeBron?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. I agree with that at this point.
I'll argue anybody to my grave on that one.
Okay. I agree with you. I mean, he's been kind of, especially the last, this season, he's been going off.
Oh, yeah.
How about Xbox or PlayStation?
The PlayStation.
PlayStation? All right. I'm rocking with these answers so far. What about Beyonce or Rihanna for Aqeel?
I'd say Rihanna.
Rihanna? Okay. What about Travis Scott or Future?
I'd say Future. I rock with both of them. They're not my absolute favorites, but I've rocked with Future for a minute since those mixtapes like Purple Rain and 56.
Yeah. All right, you definitely can't go wrong with either one. I'd probably say Future too. I've seen Travis live, and I don't know. I'd definitely say Future at this point. How about Drake or Kanye? That's a big one too.
I'm a Drake guy. I always have been, but I mean, I like Kanye. I like some of his old stuff. The documentary was crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, it made me want to get up and go do something, even though I just got finished working out. I was watching it. I was like, I need to go work out again, something like that.
Damn. All right. How about Brady or Peyton Manning? Which quarterback are you picking?
For me, it was always Peyton Manning. I feel like Tom Brady is the GOAT, one of the greatest not only quarterbacks but football players of all time. But for me, growing up, it was always Peyton. And once he retired, I was like, okay, yeah, I can respect Brady's game.
All right. I want to kind of go attack the newer guys here. What about Mahomes or Josh Allen for you? Which one of those two would you pick?
That's hard because I like both of them, but I'd say Mahomes.
Okay.
But, you can't go wrong with either one.
Yeah, I guess you got to give it to Mahomes because he's got the ring at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So before I want to get into the real questions here, if you could play a position on the field, offense, defense, even special teams, other than quarterback, what position would you pick and why?
If I could, I'd probably say wide receiver.
Receiver?
Yeah.
You ever gotten to play receiver before?
No. Well, when I was little, just 6, 7, a couple of times. But besides that, back
nothing
then,
in scout or nothing. No practice reps.
Nah. Back then it was always blocking, so we didn't really do much catching. But
yeah, gotcha. Okay. I'm definitely excited to talk to you real quick. So, you're from Alabama A&M, a smaller school, I'd say. Tell me, how did you end up getting there? I know there's a lot of HBCUs within Alabama. How did you end up picking Alabama A&M, and how did you fall through the cracks so far?
Originally, the summer going into my senior year, I had committed to Florida International. And
okay. Wow.
That's when Coach Turner was there. Ron Turner was there. And the third game of my senior year, they wiped the whole coaching staff. And then I came in and talked to them. They were saying they wanted more of a dual threat type of guy. And my thing was I wanted to get on the field as soon as possible, as early as possible. So I felt it was best. I decommitted. And then Alabama A&M had offered me around November. Took a visit down there in December. And then I graduated high school early, so I went down to A&M in the following spring. So,
wow, I didn't know that about you. Was there a moment, through your A&M career at all that you kind of looked and realized you had a shot at the NFL, or was that something you'd always been chasing your whole life?
I've always been chasing it. It kind of maturated over the 4 years and the real possibility. But it's always been a dream of mine since I was little.
Yeah. So we talked about, you're kind of more unknown, I'd say. When you're talking to guys and new scouts or coaches who haven't seen you much, what is there a game film that you show them from this year or past years that you show off?
I mean, I have a couple games this year that you can go watch. Texas Southern, UAPB,
yeah,
South Carolina State, different games like that. But I feel like you can really throw on any game, find things that I did well.
Okay. Definitely, I think so. Seeing a lot of your film this year, you show off the arm, you show off a lot of the moves, even in the pocket. Um, talk about the draft process just this offseason, and what has that been like for you, coming from Alabama?
I had been in Atlanta since like early January. I was down there training, working, throwing with my quarterback coaches and my strength and conditioning coaches. And then, since then, it's just been I had the NFLPA game, had the HBCU Legacy Bowl, and besides that, just been trying to get better every day. Like I said, taking things day by day, controlling what I can control, and at the end of the day, I don't control what scouts say, what teams think. I just gotta do what I do on the field and get better.
For sure, for sure. I love that mentality. Did you have a team growing up, like NFL wise or anything?
Honestly, growing up, it was probably the Chargers. I started liking them because of LaDainian Tomlinson.
That's cool.
I
Okay.
he had a cool face mask, a cool visor, and then once he moved to the Jets, I started liking the Jets for a couple of years, and then it just grew into more of a I like football type of thing. So I was
Yeah.
just
Okay. So talk about growing up. Who are some guys that you kind of looked at the quarterback position and tried to model your game after, or just looked at and admired their game?
growing up. Of course, my guy was always Peyton Manning, like I said,
Yeah.
but Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, all talk about Ben Roethlisberger, uh, Mike Vick, of course. As more recent, Deshaun Watson, Pat
Yeah.
Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. Really, I just try to study everybody, watch everybody, see what they do, and try and understand why they do it and why it works for them, and see how I can, take those things and implement my game.
Okay. Definitely. So I know going to Alabama A&M, you guys kind of threw the ball a lot more, I'd say, than a lot more universities did. I think 41 times per game you threw this year on average. What has that, been able to transition your game? What have you worked on this offseason to be able to translate your game into the NFL more so from being able to sling it a lot in college?
I feel like, at the end of the day, football is football. We all run the same plays. Like anybody will tell you, we all run the same plays. We just call them different things. There's probably one or two things different. Maybe a different blocking scheme here and there, a
Yeah.
different way they want you to run the route. But at the end of the day, football is football. It's honestly, I feel like in the league, once you gain the trust of your OC and your team, that that you can go out there and win a game for them, then they're gonna let you do that. The league is transitioning. It's not so much ground and pound and then throw the ball 14 times a game. It's Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, those guys throwing it 30 to 40
Yeah,
times a game.
slinging it.
They're going out there winning their team games. So I feel like that's prepared me, like coming from college, having that experience and having that, I wouldn't say pressure almost, but that job almost to go out there and your team knows that they're depending on you. It feels good, and I enjoy it. I love having the ball in my hands. I love making decisions. Like I love quarterback. It's
Yes, sir. You're great at it, man. Just talk. Is there anything this offseason, mental wise, that you looked at, watching film or getting in workout more often? Is there anything mentally that you kind of attack more so this offseason now after declaring?
uh, honestly, I've been working with my sports psychologist. Just I feel like that's a big part of anybody's success that people don't really take as or people don't really feel like it's as important almost. But for me, it's just been watching NFL film, trying to get with guys that I know that have been in the league to try and get the terminology down because that's probably the biggest
Yeah.
transition. Looking over the sideline, getting a signal and saying two words versus going into a huddle and saying two sentences. So that's probably the biggest things for me.
Yeah, talk about, I know went to the NFL PA Bowl and the HBCU Bowl. Tell me, what kind of experiences was that like, and was there anything that you particularly gained from them?
The NFLPA Bowl was huge. I got to meet a lot of guys, not only coaches but players as well. I feel like top talent from all the schools, and I felt like I went out there and showed that I belonged, and that was my whole goal throughout that process. I learned a lot from everybody. Just trying to pick everybody's brain. See how guys at big schools think. See how coaches like. I had the opportunity to be under Coach Fisher. He was our head coach, so
Yeah.
got to talk to him about different things, and then just got to meet all the coaches and all their experiences, and talk to some of the guys that are currently in the league that came down to talk to us. So that was huge for me. And the Legacy Bowl, it was a great opportunity. It was a great feeling to be a part of the first one and to set the ball off and get the ball rolling, so to speak. But it was a great experience as well. Doug Williams and Shaq Harris are for the biggest names in not only black college but the NFL. Those guys paved the way for players like me. So for me, it was about I got a chance to meet them in the summer of 2021, I think. So that was the first time. So I had been in contact with them, here and there, but just to get a chance to be around them for a whole week and pick their brains and talk with them and ask them about different things. Seeing as though they're in the front offices and they're in the league. So that was huge for me, and it was both of those were great opportunities. I'm just blessed to have.
Was there anything that stood out to you when talking to Coach Fisher or Doug Williams or any of the other guys you said you talked to? Is there something that stood out more?
I mean, not really. Everybody gave me great pointers, So at the end of the day, I was trying to be a sponge in those situations and soak up as much knowledge as I could. Everybody was just harping on the mental game because at the end of the day, once you get to everybody's good. Everybody was All-American. Everybody was All-Conference. Everybody was Player of the Year. So it's a matter of, what are you going to do mentally to set yourself apart from everybody else?
Okay, and nerd out with me real quick. Is there anything mechanically at all, when you talk about being a quarterback, whether it's your footwork or your hips at all? Is there anything mechanically that you've been working on more so this offseason now?
I mean, not really in specific, but just always, you can always tighten up your footwork. You can always release, get better with those things, get cleaner with those things. At the end of the day, I mean, if you have a good base, everything else take care of itself. So that's probably the focus, just my base. But besides that, just been trying to get better, tighten things up, make different throws, adjusting different things, so things like that.
Gotcha. What about, this offseason? Have you had to change your diet at all, whether it's, changing up foods or lightening up food, or has that not really mattered too much to you?
I mean, it hasn't really mattered that much, I never felt like I ate like too crazy, but got me and the rest of the guys on our agency, a chef, so he would, make us food and deliver it to our house, and I think that was great for me. Didn't have to cook it, do anything else. In college we always had to cook for ourselves and all that. You got to come home from practice and school and do homework, then you got to cook. No, you can just pop it in the microwave and it's all good. So
that saves a lot of time. I always love to hear talking to guys. Tell me, is there who's the best player, I'd say, out of playing at Alabama A&M or either playing against guys? Is there a player or two that stand out to you as being some of the best you've got to play against?
Yeah, I feel like the SWAC as a whole, and has great competition. I feel like people don't always think that the stigma around not only SWAC but HBCU football is kind of one of those where they don't play real football. They don't have any guys, but especially this year in the spring with Dion coming, it just brought a whole bunch of eyes to us.
Yeah,
I would say, of course, all the guys that went to the combine. I played Jacoby Durant, the corner.
Yeah,
he's a great technician at what he does. He was at the combine for a reason. He's done it for a reason. Marquise Bell from FAMU, another guy, physical, run stopping safety, has a lot of range. He's fast and he has good size. So got a chance to play against him. James Houston from Jackson State.
Yeah,
that's just off the top of my mind.
Definitely. There's definitely so many freaks in that conference, like you were saying, and now in HBCU schools, now that Dion's down coaching, like you said, it's definitely gotten a lot, bigger in the media at least. Talk about number 4. I know you wear number 4. Has that always been your number?
Honestly, I didn't start wearing number 4 until my junior year of high school. Growing up, I always wore number 7 because I wanted to be like Mike Vick, even though I was slow, but that was just who I wanted to. And then I think I got number 1 when I was like 10 or 11. Then in middle school, I had 15. And then in high school, I had 8. And then 4 was what I had success in. I would say the most success in. So just kept that going. I feel like it's a part of me now.
Okay. I want to talk about your pro day a little bit. You just had your pro day a couple days ago, right?
Yep, March 9th.
Yeah. Tell me, what was that like? And then was there stuff that you were trying to, what were you trying to show off more so in your pro day? I know you had a lot of deep throws and some also shallow ones. Was there anything that you and your team were trying to show off more so to scouts and coaches?
Honestly, just different pocket movements, and uh, I was trying to show off that I can push the ball deep because there
Yeah.
was questions there. People didn't think I had that good of an arm, but why? But I had to put those things down on film and go out there, get my test out the way, test well, and then just make all the throws. I wanted to be perfect. I think I only missed like 3 throws, so
Yeah.
pretty good day overall.
Okay. You talked about the measurements a little bit. I want to kind of go over the hand size. I think hand size has been something. Has that, crossed your mind at all as a concern, or have other guys talked about that to you at all, the hand size?
I mean, not to my knowledge. Teams haven't brought it up to me. I feel like it's one of those things where if it doesn't affect the way you play, if you don't notice that that this guy's hands are hindering him in playing position on film, then it shouldn't be an issue. Like I feel like hand size is something that you can't control. It's not like you can,
Yeah.
lifting and running you can get better at, but you can't grow your hands. So it's like one of those things where people adapt and people make changes. Like Kenny Pickett, he wears gloves. He had a great
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't affect him. It's not one of those things where the ball's slipping out of his hands every day. So I feel like it's just one of those numbers that is kind of antiquated with the league. There are some measurements and tests done that are kind of antique at this point, but you got to do it. You got to go through it. It's standard protocol. So
Yeah. No, like you said, I definitely think that's the type of thing that's like antique at this point. Doesn't make any more sense because, I think a lot of guys like Mahomes and the other quarterbacks in today's league, have learned to grip the ball, tighter on the ball on the end of it and be able to sidearm it and sling it easier. So it's not really one of those things that are obviously in the, as big in today's measurements, obviously.
right.
You talked about the deep ball a little bit. I want to talk about what's your confidence in the deep ball, playing through it a lot. I know you throw a lot of balls deep. Tell me, what is your confidence level with the trend of deep balls going more into the NFL?
Uh, I'm very confident. That's probably the best thing that you can do playing quarterback. Throwing
Yeah.
touchdowns.
Score.
Yeah, it's one of those things where that feeling that you get for releasing it and hitting them in stride and letting them run with it. I mean, it's great. So I feel like I'm completely confident in my abilities to do it, make every throw. I feel like mistake the people sometimes mistake the arm talent of guys, but it doesn't really matter like how strong your arm is. You've seen guys who are had the strongest arm in the world fail at quarterback
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't understand the rest of it. I feel like at the end of the day, timing and anticipation is more important than arm strength any day.
Definitely. I know watching your film, like you got the arm, but you got the touch and the shuffles in the pocket and everything else that kind of make your game complete. I want to ask, do you know how far you can throw the ball?
Uh, not right now. Last
No.
college, it was probably like 65, I think.
When was that, you said?
That was in college.
Okay. That's still solid. I could see you throwing 70, 75.
Yeah.
Tell me, because I think you're the man, aspects of your game that you need to improve on going into the NFL.
I mean, I feel like, my best football is ahead. I feel like over my 4 years, I've gotten better each year. I'm going to continue to do that. But going into NFL, like I said, just the mental side, picking up on things, picking up on different defenses, because at the end of the day, those guys disguise, they can be in cover two with one safety high in the middle of the field and then roll to cover two. They do some crazy things, but, mentally, physically, just, getting better, being in the best shape of my life. Just continue to do that, tighten up my footwork, get a little quicker, and then that's about it. Just being an overall better player.
Okay. I do have one more before I want to wrap it up. Talk about, coming from an HBCU school, what does that mean to you? And what is it like seeing the trend of, HBCU schools starting to get more attention in the media today?
I feel like, going into college, I didn't really understand the, legacy and all the stuff that went into going to HBC and coming from it. But to me, it'd be huge. My goal has always been to be the first HBCU quarterback drafted since 2006 when Tavares Jackson was drafted. But
Wow.
I feel like it'll be huge. It'll set the standard and it'll set up guys. It'll set up HBCUs for the future. It's like you don't only represent yourself, you represent your university, you represent all the HBCUs, you represent all the people that came before you and allowed you to be in the position you are. Just like, James, Shaq Harris,
Yeah.
and Doug Williams. I thank those guys. They're giving us opportunities and setting things up for us to grow. I feel like, the positive potential on HBCUs is well overdue. It's great to see. I think just yesterday they released that Jackson State's spring game was going to be on ESPNU. So that would be huge, just, getting that media coverage. Because I feel like that's one of the things that people don't really see. Like, growing up, you would always see, Alabama's spring game on TV,
Yeah.
or see Florida, or you see all these different schools, but you don't really see HBCUs. So, like, kids don't really dream of going to, a HBCU. But if you get a young kid and you show them that, oh, see these guys on TV, you can be like them one day, this kid will
Yeah.
say, oh, I want to go to Jackson State too. So I feel like it's huge, and it's big not only for, this generation, but, like I said, generations to come.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of history there, and I mean, just getting to watch, the trend of watching, of realizing, people in the media realizing how talented a lot of these HBCU schools and smaller schools are. It's definitely something great to see. I want to also hit on, what are your thoughts on NIL coming, since that's, the deal has passed for NIL. Tell me, what are your thoughts on that since that's passed?
I feel like it's well overdue as well. I feel like it kind of sucks that we only got like our class only got a year of it. But I mean, it is what it is. But I feel like it's great. It's finally time that guys can get paid for their hard work, and I feel like it's well overdue. I just feel
Yeah.
like guys just always have to make sure they keep the main thing, because if they don't, the NIL will go away. Because nobody wants to sponsor the third string running back on a 4-7 team or something like that. So
Yeah.
uh,
No, I'm definitely for, people getting their money, student athletes getting the money they deserve.
for sure.
All right, I really appreciate you coming on, Aqeel. I know this has been a couple months in the making. Even I've been wanting to get you on here for a minute now, so I really appreciate you taking the time, out of your day.
No problem. I thank you for having me.
For sure, man. I'll be rooting for you the rest of the offseason. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll see you, man. Thanks for watching, everybody.